I'm going to use my magic powers, and I'm going to summon in the man, the myth, the legend himself, Spike, the man, Cohen. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Larry. Thank you so much for having me. I feel
I'm
like you're
happy
the man in the myth.
No, you're the one in space right now. You're the one literally in space, not me.
This
I'm
actually
sitting in some
isn't
office.
really happening behind me. This is all just a trick. This is
Oh
just
my
a
God,
green screen. That's not real. No. None
I
of
thought
that's
this
happening.
was real.
No.
No, I knew you had magic powers, so I figured you were just floating over, is what I thought.
No, I'm not. No, this isn't actually what the world looks like when you're on top of it anyway.
Oh, see, I wouldn't know that. I'm not cool like you. It's fine. No worries. It's fine. No worries. It's good to see you, my friend. I appreciate it.
It's good to see you too, man. It's been weeks.
It has. It has been a while. And I'm here showing people my stuff from 2018.
Oh, okay.
And showing where I stood on issues, how I stood on issues, things I discussed. And, you know, you and I have discussed this before. We in the Libertarian Party love the debate. Love the debate. And I'm like, I don't like debating libertarians. We agree on 99% of the stuff. Why are we debating, right? It drives me crazy, but we do. So I want to show an actual debate that I did against non-libertarians, right? This was for my last
Which is what we should be doing, arguing with other people. Yes. Yep.
Absolutely. And here it is. You guys can watch it and tell me what you think. This is asking about my education, my K through 10 plan.
This is a more K through 12 question. What does educational equity mean to you? And if you believe that the state has fallen short, can you provide some specific examples as to where?
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, there is no doubt. Right now we have a system to where if
you look right there to the far left, you will find Howie Hawkins, who was the Green Party candidate.
Yep.
You will find next to him, Stephanie Miner, who was the SAM candidate. Then there's the person who's a moderator. Then that handsome man to the right is me. And the person next to me is Mark Milano, who was the Republican candidate. Cuomo never showed up. So I actually made the debate stage, and Cuomo did not show up. My governor did not show up to this debate. This was an official debate by the League of Women Voters. We made it in debates, and the top guy didn't show up. How's that feel, Spike?
It feels familiar. Well, you at least got on the debate stage. But here's the thing. In Cuomo's defense, he had nothing to gain by debating you. This is, the reality is he knows he's going to lose a debate to you. And if by some miracle you come in, you've eaten too much cake or something like that, you're off your game a little bit or something, and you come in, he didn't gain anything by winning that debate. So no, of course he's going to run for the hills. This is what happens when libertarians make it on the debate stage. The incumbents run away.
Absolutely. So I think that part was crazy, but I actually did talk about an actual plan, which is the crazy thing.
Yes.
You can afford tutors, your kids will do well. And if you can't afford tutors, your kids will struggle. So it doesn't work at all. The entire system has to be revamped from bottom to top. We need to end standardized testing for all kids prior to high school. It has to go away. It is an unfair way of grading teachers. It is an unfair way of judging schools. And it's no indication of success. And it makes kids who are 8, 10, 12 years old feel stupid because they can't take a test well. It creates a second class of student already. And I'm adding 30 seconds. And not just that, K through 12 itself is an anachronism. It should not exist anymore. We should be K through 10. The last 2 years for too many kids, and you know this to be true. It is study hall. It is gym. It is smoking weed and video games. Wasting time. How do I know that? The first year of college is 13th grade. It's all remedial because no kids are ready for it. Taking over 6 years to graduate college. Stop that. It's a disaster. There are many ways to have success. After you're in 10th grade, the first thing you do is you have an option. You want to go to college? Great. Go to a 2-year prep school. You want to do that? Great. Go to a 2-year trade school. We need trades in this state. The average tradesman in New York State is over 50 years old. How many kids do you know struggle through college, then 28 years old go, just want to build houses? We stole 10 years of that kid's life for no reason or a lie. Instead, let's let our kids be who they want to be when they want to be it. We can do that. How do we pay for it? Very simple. I'm a Marine. When I got a Marine Corps, I had a GI Bill. I had X dollars and X years to use it. We're going to give our kids.
Thank you, Mr. Sharpe.
I thought I had another 30 seconds, didn't I?
You did.
Well, then I want 30 more. Then I'm not done. This is my baby. This is my baby. I'm not done. No.
Now, the reason why I show this is what you saw me do in that clip is be passionate, give an actual answer, and tell the truth. I said the last 2 years of high school was a joke. I didn't
Yep.
say we have to invest more in our kids and blah, 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 blah,
Yep,
blah,
yep,
that stupid
yep,
crap.
yep.
I said, no, it's a joke. Get rid of it. It's dumb. It's stupid. Doesn't work. But the critical piece is I didn't just say it's bad. I then gave a way to make it actually work.
Yeah.
That's the critical piece. I actually gave a way to make it work.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Libertarians are proposing a total shift in almost everything, especially when it relates to government. It's pretty much everything we want to change. And we can explain why it sucks. Fantastic.
Yep.
What is our plan?
Yes.
And that's a crucial part of it. Now, I will admit, I make fun of the folks that when I'm saying, this thing that they're doing with the COVID regime, none of these things are working. And the first thing people say is, well, what's your plan? Well, step number one is stop doing bad things that make it worse. But
Yes.
in their defense, what is our plan? And the thing is, we have answers for it. So instead of banging our heads up against the wall and calling everyone bootlickers, which I know that's your favorite thing to do, but if you can
Every
just
day.
stop for a moment, just stop.
Fine.
And
Today, Spike. Today I'll stop. Fine.
today is the day that Larry stops calling everyone he meets a bootlicker. But
Yep, today.
if in doing that, you instead can give that answer of what a better way is. Now you're not just saying this sucks. Everyone already knows this sucks. That's why
Yes.
they came to that debate, because they know it sucks. You're giving an actual answer, and that's what it's all about. That's why you're running. That's why we're supporting it.
I love it, guys. If you like what I'm saying, then do me a favor then. Donate. LarrySharpe.com/LarryThon if you can. It does matter if you can. I'm looking to the best of my ability to get 100 people to give $100. And if you're a heavy hitter, show me you're a heavy hitter. I want 10 people to give me $1,000. That'll raise 20 grand for today. Once we hit that number, that's more advertising for January. Now we are rocking and rolling. So if you can help out, if you want a guy on the debate stage like that, well, I'll get there. If you help me, I will get there. And let me wrap this up so you see how I ended it.
Oh, I'm not done.
No.
It's my baby.
Please.
Not just
They're
that.
popping
So we're going to instead give our kids, we're going to give them $20,000 and 7 years to use it. What does that mean? A bunch of trade schools pop up, a bunch of prep schools pop up. How do I know? It's guaranteed government money. Banks love that. They always give loans for that. We're good. When that begins to happen, we'll spend only $10,000 per kid, not 22. We'll save $12,000 per kid. There's about 400,000 11th and 12th graders in New York State. That's more than $4 billion, more than what we'll lose from federal funds. We'll make that up and require less administrators and better teachers, happier kids, happier
Thank you,
parents.
Mr. Sharpe.
That is what I wanted to try to achieve in
Yep.
2018. And what I would ask anyone watching, has it changed? Right? What I always get, and Spike, you got this. Oh, I can't vote for you, Spike. I love you, but it's a wasted vote. I got that same thing, right?
Yep.
So my point is, if you voted for someone else, what'd you get?
Most important election of our lives. And they're already doing this again for 2024. They're skipping the midterms this time to say that this is the 2024. Yes, we'll get to 2022 when it's 2022, but you need to know in 2021 that 2024 is the most important election of our lives. Here's how that relates to you, Larry. Everything you said there is true or worse, right? Like everything you said that was bad in that debate or during the entire 2018 campaign, that's either as like the baseline, that was all high watermark. It's only gotten worse since then.
Correct.
So, but the reality is the thing I say, and this is my elevator pitch when, people corner me and go, tell me why I should waste my vote on you. And I go, I'm going to rather tell you why you shouldn't waste your vote on the people who created the mess that you're in. And you're voting for them again in the vain hope that this time, Larry, they're finally going to fix it. And if you don't vote for them, you're going to get the guy behind them who they work with every day to make everything terrible for you.
Right. Absolutely true. Yes, nothing was fixed. So you might be mad at me for some reason going, well, Larry, I can't vote for you. But I would ask you, if I got elected, some of that would have happened. Something, I would have gotten something passed. What'd you get now? Nothing. Everything I said 4 years ago is still true, to your point, or worse. It's insane. So before we go further, Spike, tell me what you're doing. I'm sorry, I jumped right into my cool video because I like my cool videos.
I'm glad you did.
So tell me what you're doing right now. You are out there everywhere. You are killing it, out doing the media stuff. Tell people what you're doing.
I'm everywhere.
I know.
Sometimes at the same
time. I
time.
thought you were in space.
This is the one place. This is the one place I haven't campaigned yet. Is in space for libertarians to take over low Earth orbit and leave everyone alone. No, I in the last year, coming out of the campaign, I realized that we had the excitement, we had momentum, we had the desire to win, we had more activists than we've ever had before. But what we didn't have was what appeared to be much of a game plan. And so I came in, and I'm not going to take all the credit or even most of the credit. I'll take a small portion of the credit. I and other libertarians across the country realized that we needed to focus on the grassroots elections to build up. And that's why we just had the record number of election wins for 2021 in an off year, not even during a midterm or a general election year with a presidential candidate. In an off, like a by-election year, we got almost 200 races, almost 150 of them in Pennsylvania. And so now what I'm going to be doing in coming into this year with my group, You Are the Power, we're going to be expanding that even further. We're going to be going into, I want everything that was happening with the Moulton maneuver in Pennsylvania. I want that in New York. I want that where I am in South Carolina. I want it in Florida. I want it in Alaska. I want it in Alabama. I want it in Hawaii. I want it everywhere. And that momentum is what's going to be able to be used for you in your campaign as well, Larry, and those that are running for statewide offices and federal offices.
I love it.
You need that army behind you of people that are going to be doing the groundwork, building affiliates, building campaigns, building legislative victories, and showing that, you know, the Larry way of doing things in New York, the libertarian way of doing things, Larrytarianism needs to take over New York. And the way we're going to do that is at the grassroots moving up. The world. You're going to be up here next.
That's gonna be me.
I'm campaigning for Larry to be the king of low Earth orbit. And that's why
love that. Love that. Absolutely. Yes. So can I take some comments? Is that okay?
Absolutely. Please.
Brian says, if MMT is correct, which is modern monetary theory, for those of you who don't know, I know you know, Spike, but some viewers may not know, and correct, and government debt is nothing to worry about, why does it collect taxes? Yes. When people bring up MMT, I don't know how you deal with this, Spike. When they bring up MMT, I always say, great, if that's true, why doesn't the government simply absorb all, all of our debt every 10 years? Just absorb all of our consumer debt every 10 years. We all get a mulligan every 10 years. Give me some time to buy a couple houses first, and then we'll all just do that. I mean, do you ever get that?
Yeah, I get MMT all the time. In fact, it's very popular because of people mistake Milton Friedman's negative income tax, which I don't support that either. They mistake that for MMT and UBI when there are some key differences there. And so there are a lot of libertarians that are buying into MMT and UBI. And the thing I say what you're saying is, well, why isn't the government just absorbing? Why don't we have a jubilee every 10 years where everyone's debt's absolved? And I'm sure everyone will be very responsible with that. The thing I say is, if government's main function, only function becomes deciding how much money you get every month, what do you think politicians are going to talk about? Do you think they're going to talk about defending your rights? Do you think a libertarian is going to have a way in edgewise to talk about protecting people? Every single month, between the fact that or every single election cycle, between the fact that that's all politicians are going to be incentivized to talk about, and the fact that the cost of living is going to spiral out of control from the tens of trillions of dollars in debt that are going to get run up every year. All anyone is going to want to hear is that my $5,000 a month is now $10,000 a month. And then I'm going to go and say, Larry doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't care about you. If you vote for me, I'll give you $14,000 a month. And then Andrew Yang comes out of the shadows and says, these guys are both schmucks. I'll give you $20,000 a month. And then that's just going to make it even worse. If you make it where all government is doing is handing off money to everyone, regardless of their situation, that doesn't the only thing it streamlines is the ability for politicians to rob you of your own money and then give some of it back to you.
I think you've hit it exactly on the money. I was just watching my Mayor de Blasio, the worst mayor in New York City, in the country. He actually was talking about all the good things he's done. And as I was looking at what he had done that was so good, all it really was giving money out. That's what it was. He earmarked money for things. That's what he does, which is why in New York State, many people who aren't in New York don't know this. We don't actually pass laws anymore. What we do is we pass budgets. So all the laws are in the budget. Why? Because every law, every rule is just giving out money anyway. So now we cut the middleman out in New York. We don't even bother passing laws anymore. We just put everything in the budget because it's all about giving out money. And people don't believe me, but you can just look. Oh my God. we haven't passed a law. I don't know how long. We just give out money through that. And of course, mandates, which no law there. And of course, we have our another one we have in New York is we have committees and bureaus and such who create rules. And if the assembly doesn't say it's not a law, and I think it's 90 days or 30 days, it becomes a law. So now even they're doing laws. The only people who don't pass laws is our assembly.
The lawmakers.
Yes, the lawmakers.
Specifically, the lawmakers don't pass laws, which is that
Correct.
makes sense for government, right? It's like whatever they call something, it's the opposite of that. So it's like, what do you do? I'm a lawmaker. What do you actually do? I do everything but make laws. I do blue ribbon panels. We pass these omnibuses once or twice a year. I get cut a lot of ribbons. Actually, fewer and fewer ribbons. Actually, recently.
Absolutely.
I grandstand a lot, and I accept a lot of bribes and money. Laws, no. I try to avoid laws. I try to avoid
to the best of my ability. Yes,
whenever I can, if at all possible, I try to stay home that day if there's a law being proposed or anything. Yeah,
that's the norm, and I wish that wasn't true, but it really is the norm. So we were talking about the average American struggling just before you came on, and Tony brings up that struggle is nearly every person I know, and it hasn't gotten better, Tony. It hasn't gotten better, and you would think that if government could be effective, you would think that by now they would have made the struggle easier or less people struggling or any of those things. Yeah. But constantly the struggle is still happening. It's not turning right at all. It's staying that bad. By the way, Rebecca loves you. She yells spike.
Spike.
So,
I can answer that. Rebecca. That's my answer.
There we go. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No,
please.
That's been going on steadily, right? Ever since honestly, ever since Woodrow Wilson, but definitely ever since the New Deal and then the Great Society and the War on Poverty. In those phases, it's been kind of slowly getting worse for the middle class, because even though their incomes have been slowly going up, the cost of living has continued to spiral out of control. But that's okay, because after government shoves you down into the ground, you discover there's a nice safety net there for you. So that's good. Yes. They have taken your wallet, to coin the phrase from Harry Brown. They have taken your wallet. They have beaten you up and broken your leg, but they did give you a nice new pair of crutches every couple of years. And if you're Thomas Queter, they'll give you a wheelchair that will hurt you.
That will hurt you. Make things worse.
That's the new version. Yes. But with the COVID regime, it's gone on a completely different level. Last year, we saw the greatest transfer of wealth in human history, and it was from those with the least, the lower 50, 60 percentile, to those other people. And it was, people being shut down, their businesses being shut down, being told they weren't essential, being told that if they open their furniture store or their tanning salon or their bar that has 5, 10, 15 people in it, that's very unsafe. We need to make sure everyone's going to Costco at the same time, thousands at a time, where it's safe at Target, and then going home and downloading things or buying things on Amazon and watching Netflix, maximizing profits for the rich. But it's okay, Larry, because they gave us the average person got about $5,000 in subsidy, but the cost of living did go up almost $9,000 during that time.
So, wow, that math not even Common Core math. That does not work out at all.
No, any kind of math that turns out you get screwed. I did some very advanced math on this before I came on, just to make sure everyone's getting screwed on this.
Okay, good. At least it's fair. Okay, I guess it's equity for you. So this is it's
equity. It is equity.
It is equity. Yes, I do want to quickly show you one from government making mistakes at a local level. This is in Utica. When I was crossing Utica had an issue with a hospital building downtown, and eminent domain was an issue. And I actually I brought in my young daughter at the time as a way of I don't know, trying to make it look cute. I don't know if it worked or not, but I tried.
I'm here in Utica with my lovely daughter Barbara.
Hello.
Just left the Wilcor showroom, speaking to Sean there. Amazing company, 3 generations here in Utica, across the country. An amazing company that brings people here to their showroom to help out Utica, brings tourism here to Utica to support the local businesses. It is a family business here in Utica. And guess what? Right now, the government wants to bulldoze this to put a hospital here. Let me be clear. They want to use eminent domain to take their land and
Is this just a major cliffhanger or did it pause?
Hold on. Let me see if it's going to pause. There we go.
use taxpayer money,
There we go.
$300 million to give to another private company.
Mhm.
This is wrong, it's unethical, and bad for Utica. What's more important is that businesses like this survive and thrive. This is what will revitalize this city, this town, this area, this Main Street, this downtown. This is how, by protecting them from eminent domain, we will save Main Street.
Now, the sad part about that is that business is gone. That was 4 years ago.
Yep.
The hospital is being built. They did bulldoze that building, and that company is now gone. Now, what was terrible about about this even more is that company, that was a showroom. They shipped stuff from Utica to other parts of the country. So they would bring people into their showroom. So people had to get a hotel. People had to eat, you know, at the local restaurant. And then they would show Utica around and they'd look at the, oh, I want 18 of these, 2,000 of these, 10,000 of those, 50,000 of these. And then people would go home and they'd ship stuff out. Utica jobs. They're gone now.
Yeah. And now let's be clear. Hospitals are needed. We certainly know that. So make offers on properties that are for sale. And if they want more, give them more, because that's how the market works. Now, what's even worse, does New York have certificate of need laws?
Sadly, yes.
Okay, so now that the Mohawk Valley Hospital or whatever it's called there is there, if someone else says, you know what, I think that we need another medical center a few miles down the road, maybe expanding an existing imaging center or whatever, Mohawk Valley healthcare system, if that's what whatever that's called, will fight that tooth and nail, and 100%. They will have a system called certificate of need laws where they can literally essentially sue to stop it. And the city government, the county government, whoever the municipality is under that your state's certificate of need laws, is required by law, whether they want to or not, to go through this process of forcing this other company to prove that they're really needed. And that's so they've used eminent domain to steal property essentially for pennies on the dollar to build this hospital. And now they're going to use government to make sure no one else can compete with them. And you're going to be shocked, but we have totally unrelated to what we're talking about. Healthcare is very expensive in this country.
Oh, is it? Oh my God. I wonder why. I have heard that. I think someone's told me that once or twice. Okay, good. Okay, good. We're on the same page. Great. I'm sure that's nothing to do with government being involved at all.
Absolutely not. No.
Nothing whatsoever. I love that.
At all.
That's good. So Thomas says, tune in the right time. My favorite Spike and Larry. Awesome. Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate it. David says, Larry, this material's fire. Oh, I like that. We need you running. Holy crap, we need to donate to this man. Someone drop the donation link. Yeah, please do that. Drop donation link. Yes, it's LarrySharpe.com/LarryThon, because this is a celebrity LarryThon. I just made that up because it sounded cool. So
no,
now
I love
sounds
it.
Cool.
I love it. I'm very much the king of puns. In fact, I'm going to put that because earlier I was sharing that while you were playing one of the things, and now I'm going to put that in the link to what in the comments of what I shared.
Well, you're the celebrity, so see, you get to be the celebrity in this one.
That's good.
It's not just a Larrython. That would be regular. This is a celebrity Larrython, so I gotta have you here.
Oh, okay. So it's like a Spike and Larrython or Larry Spike-a-thon.
Whatever. Yes. Yes. Exactly.
That's good. That's good.
Sam says, former teacher here, and I love Larry's K through 10 plan.
Yes.
I hear that all the time. Right? Yes. I hear that all the time. Really. People love the idea completely. Yes, they really do enjoy it. So when you were just around New York State, though, weren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was in Syracuse, and I was wherever you were in the state. I was somewhere else telling people to support you.
There we go.
And so we were basically mixing matching the state. We did hang out we did get to hang out together in Syracuse for a little bit. And
absolutely.
And I saw you right before I came to New York, and now I'm blanking.
South Dakota?
Yes. Well, no, but it was even after that. Anyway, whatever. So in New York, we did get to see each other a little bit in Syracuse.
We were in Michigan too.
That's what it was. It was Michigan. Yeah.
Yep.
And so we, I, made sure that I canvassed as much of the state as possible. We started in Staten Island, and we did Long Island, we did Manhattan, we did up to Syracuse, we did Albany, we did Buffalo, Niagara Falls, and then Bergen, which is near Rochester, and then Oneonta, which is where Thomas Queter is, and we campaigned for him. And the reason I was there is because if there is a single state that needs liberty desperately, it is New York.
Yes.
New York is, I believe, the least free state in the union by almost every organization's measure.
Ranked by Cato multiple years in a row. Take that, California. Yes.
Finally, we win at something. But so I mean, I it's weird because, and you probably get this too, Larry. When I say I'm in New York doing this, or I'm supporting someone in New York, they go, New York, they're just a bunch of liberals. And it's like, well, yeah, that's why we're there. We're here because the reason people are voting Democrat is because they voted Democrat. Their parents voted Democrat. The Democrats are in charge. The Democrats are the ones that hold all the purse strings. They look at the Republicans and go, no, absolutely not. And so they vote Democrat. What an opportunity to say, this isn't working, and the Republicans suck too. So here is our answer. Not just that these things are terrible, but here are our actual solutions to do things. And that's when I first had you on my show back in early 2019. You probably didn't even know you were on my show. I was such a nobody at the time. You came on and you talked about your K through 10 plan. And I told you, and I had mentioned before that I was an anarcho-capitalist. And you said, so you're probably not going to like this. I said, no, I want to hear it. And you told me. And I said, well, listen, I know I can't, there is no Rothbard button. I know we can't make the government go away. But the reality is there's going to have to be steps down. What a perfect step down. You're empowering students who at that point, they're the ones who need to be empowered. When you're talking high school, they're the ones, these are, going to soon be young adults that need to start making decisions for themselves. You're empowering 100%. The parents, and frankly, you're empowering the teachers. You're taking the power out of the hands of government and the teachers unions, and you're saving the state money and the taxpayers' money. Who doesn't love that? Yes. I think it's great. I think your plan is fantastic.
And my point, I think, always is what most people like it, and what they don't realize is I'm literally privatizing 2 years of school. Right?
Yes.
2 years of school get privatized. Done. And federal funds come out. Right? So there's no federal funds, no strings attached. So I'm getting rid of the federal government and privatizing 2 years of school. But if I were to say that, people would say, that plan's terrible. I'm scared. I'm scared of that plan because it gets rid of the government. And oh my God. But then I say, well, no, it's just a K through 10 plan and you have choices. You go, oh, that's a great plan. Yeah, same plan. So yes, it's
literally the same
how
plan.
you say it.
Yeah, it's always, first of all, when we trip over ourselves with some of our lingo. Like if you're saying privatize, you need to realize what that means to most people. They don't realize you're saying decentralize and put the power back in your hands and put the money and the freedom and the decision-making ability back in your hands. When they think private, they think a big fence and a big sign that says private property, keep out. And especially if they don't come from a wealthy background, then they've associated that with, oh, that's where wealthy people go and I don't get to do that. Like we're just now starting where people realize the term private school isn't a bad thing, or it doesn't just mean for wealthy people. Private school is actually something that's more affordable with much better outcomes and with more control from parents, which is why school choice is becoming more and more popular. It's going to take time before privatize means to the general normie public what it does to me and to Larry and to everyone watching this. And in the meantime, if you can say things like, we're going to empower you, we're going to let you as a stakeholder be able to make decisions for yourselves, we're going to give you the power back, we're going to give you the money back and let you decide for yourself. You're literally saying the exact same thing. You're just explaining it in terms that are friendly to them instead of trying to gold pill them into, you're basically taking think of all the years of reading of Rothbard and Hayek and Mises and Hazlitt and everyone else that it took for you to reach the point you are. Now, imagine if before you had done any of that, someone tried to say it all to you in 2 paragraphs and then called you a bootlicker as a follow-up.
I remember you bring this up. I tell a story often. When I heard Gary Johnson speak in 2012, I thought he was a radical. I'm serious. I did. I was like, this guy's what? Did he just what? So wait a minute. So government isn't the answer for everything? What? I thought he was a radical. And
Right.
what he was, in my view, where my head was, he was just radical enough for me to go, huh. My head was not in a spot in 2008. I couldn't hear Ron Paul. Right now, I love Ron Paul, but I couldn't hear him in 2008. My head
that
was
time,
not
yeah.
there.
Yep.
But in 2012, now my brain was open. I could hear someone.
Mhm.
And the person who was there for me was Gary Johnson. And I
Yep.
thought, this guy's radical. Oh my God. Who's this guy? These librarians. They're brilliant. Oh, libertarians. Okay. I thought librarians. He seems smart. But it's I didn't even know. And all of a sudden, then I started to draw and now I'm far more radical than Gary Johnson is. But
Yep.
that's what I needed then to get myself there. And we
And
don't
there-
do that well enough.
And there's a lesson there too, Larry, because you think of all the people that Ron Paul brought to the movement. Gary Johnson brought you to the movement. There are many
Yep.
others that brought people. One of the biggest people that brought me to the movement was Matt Kibbe. And the reason he brought me to the movement was because he had been involved with a group called Freedom Works, and I think Grassfire before that, which was a conservative group. He was the token libertarian. And so he continued to send emails through Freedom Works and then through another group after that. I forget what it's called. And so he was the only person that was presenting the anti-Iraq war, anti-endless spending, anti-Patriot Act message in a way that was palatable for me as a somewhat liberty-leaning neocon who was liberty-leaning on things like guns and drugs and personal decisions. But, you know, that's what I needed at that time. I remember I used to hate Ron Paul when he would talk about war. 9/11's blowback. How dare you? These people hate us for our freedoms. You know, I wasn't ready for that. And Gary Johnson, I don't know if I would have received that, but Matt Kibbe, I was ready to receive. And so the lesson there is it takes all kinds. Everyone is different. We believe this. We're all individuals. We're the smallest minorities, each and every last one of us. We all receive things differently. So maybe let this person, if they're saying it differently, if they're sticking true to what we believe and they're using their way of presenting it and their tone and tenor and nomenclature to be able to present it to that group, good. Let them do that for their audience. You do this for your audience. This person does that for their audience, and we can bring people in all different ways.
Absolutely. I completely agree. As AJ says, you are the power. Someone says that. Someone does say that. Yes. No, look, I'm with you 100%. Tell the people how they can follow you and what you're doing if they want to watch what you're doing.
Well, number one, you need to go to LarrySharpe.com/LarryThon and help this man become the next governor of New York. Every penny that you sow into this is fertile ground to spread the message of liberty and to get libertarians elected. We want to get Larry elected. The closer Larry gets to getting elected, the more libertarians we get elected down ballot in New York and in surrounding states. I want you to remember something about this. Larry's campaign in 2018 was a national campaign for governor of New York. He brought in people from all over the country who to this day will tell me Larry Sharpe's who brought me into the Libertarian Party. And now they're doing something in Montana or California or South Carolina, Florida, New Hampshire, whatever. This is a man who is not only going to run and fight to win the governorship of New York, but to continue to grow the liberty movement. LarrySharpe.com/LarryThon. If you want to follow me, my website is SpikeCohen.com. I'm also on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm finally on TikTok for all the kids out there. I'm finding all these like 18-year-olds that are following me. It's a whole different vibe there. But check me out on all those social media platforms. SpikeCohen.com. Very soon, I'm going to be announcing something very, very big. So go and sign up there. The long story short is it's something that's going to help Larry. So sign up and find out more about it. Yes, it's going to help Larry. It's all about Larry. 2022 is the
I agree.
I agree. But thank you for having me, Larry. I really appreciate it.
I want to say thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate all the time you give me. And I say this all the time. I can't say it enough. I am so happy that you are still part of this movement. I am so happy that you're here with us. Thank you so much for all you do. Please keep going so I can still keep saying that. So good. All right.
Yeah, no, I don't want to disappoint Larry. For no other reason, I'm sticking around. I don't want to disappoint you. I love you, man. Thank you for having me on. Tasha says hi, and I will see you soon. LarrySharpe.com/LarryThon, everyone.
Thank you, my friend. Have a good one.